Welcome to this online tutorial, and we'll be talking about how to graph equations in equations of a line and find slope. Okay, so just to give you, this is one example. This is an equation of a line which we're going to be graphing. But let's start off with an overview of slope. So we know slope is m, indicated by the letter m, and that is equal to delta y. Delta y over delta x, right? And really what this means, what the delta means, that's an x. The delta means change, okay? So change in y over change in x, because, and to expand on that more, you're going to have y2 minus y1, and I'll explain what the y2 and y1 means and the x2 and x1. Okay. So what I mean by this is the reason why I have y's and x's with 2's and 1's is because finding slope requires 2 points. So let's say you have the point 2 and 1, okay? And then you have another point. So again, this is the x coordinate of this point, all right? And this is the y coordinate of that point. If I have my second point, so this is P1, okay? Let's say that's P1. P2. So P2, the second point is going to be 3 and then comma 2, all right? So my 3 is going to be my x, and then my 2 is going to be my y. So this is my second point. And what we're going to do is, this is actually, since this is the first point, this is going to be my first x and my first y coordinate. So that's what it's meant by x1 and y1. And if this is my second point, then we're going to have, this is going to be the second x coordinate and the second y coordinate. So what I'm going to do is just follow the formula. So it's going to be second y minus first y. So it's 2 minus 1, okay? So which is going to be 1 on the top, over x2 minus x1. So my x2, or second x coordinate, is 3. I subtract my x1, or my first x coordinate, which is 2. So that's also going to be 1. So 1 divided by 1 is just going to be 1. And that is my slope, right? It's rise over run. So in this case, what we're doing is, this equation is in the form of y equals mx plus b. So ideally our m value is 4. So mx, let me just rewrite this in this form so you know what I'm talking about. The mx plus b, you know the 4 corresponds to the slope, and the b is going to be our y-intercept, which is 2, or you can think of it as the vertical translation. So that's just a bit of an overview. I know it's a bit wordy, but that's what I'm trying to get to you. So let's get on to the next slide, where we're just going to quickly graph this, and I'll show you how to graph this equation here, y equals 4x plus 2. So we have our Cartesian equation, our plane here. So let me just rewrite this again. Y equals to 4x plus 2. Okay? 4x plus 2. So we already know that our slope is going to be 4, and our y-intercept is, again, it's not saying 2. Our y-intercept as a point is going to be 0, 2. Because at a y-intercept, that's only intersecting the y-intercept. That's a point on the y-axis, actually. So you have a 0x, but you have a y-coordinate. So the best thing to do when graphing these lines is start off by graphing the y-intercept. So if my y-intercept is 2, I just put a point at the 2 here, right? Simple as that, put a point there. That is my y-intercept. Now I took care of the y-intercept. Now I just have to graph the slope, okay? So the slope is 4, and again, if I rewrite this, if my m value, or my slope, is going to be 4, again, slope, the 4 is the same thing as 4 over 1, right? So again, my rise is going to be my 4, and my run is going to be 1. So what I'm going to do is, I always start from whatever point reference there is. So I start from the y-intercept, okay? Because I'm actually given this point, so I can originate from this point and then make my slope. So what we're going to do is, since our run over here is going to be 1, and it's plus 1, it's not negative, so I'm going to go to the right 1 and up 4, because my rise is going to be 4, right? So starting at 2, my y-intercept, go right 1 and go 4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That's my point there, because that is my slope. And you can do the opposite as well. The opposite of this would be your rise by going, or in fact, you could even connect these dots just like that to make it simple for you. So if I connect these dots just like that, I should have a line like that. And again, make sure you put arrows on your line because this line discontinues. So that is the end of this tutorial, and I hope that was helpful.